radio podcast, hoping not to hear obscenities from someone.
Yeah, fuck that ass. Fucking hard, fucking hard.
If anyone has children, please get them out of the room. This is a 48-year-old who's been drinking this.
I'm not
You have
that old.
right
I'm
here.
34.
Okay. Coca-Cola Zero. Anyway, you can go on your own label. Aspartame is what? It is the fourth ingredient. And there are about...
Start it over. I don't want no one to hear me in the background.
There are 4 more ingredients after it. Sugar is the last ingredient. Hydrogenated corn syrup, which you're probably drinking, even if you're doing the right thing, trying to, is the second to last. Needless to say, it's not very sweet. We'll get into that in a minute. That's where it comes from. Aspartame. What is it? You probably never thought about it. I didn't. Somebody left this on my door. It's right here. It is 40% aspartic acid. You ask yourself, what is aspartic acid? Well, much as you know, the LSD, which doesn't work in the same way, it wasn't a direct neurotransmitter. It is a neurotransmitter. Yes, you heard me right, a neurotransmitter, just like serotonin, dopamine, only it happens to affect norepinephrine. So you drink this, and your body stops making norepinephrine, which causes chemical imbalance, causes mood disturbances, causes a lot of bad things. It's an excitotoxin, which means it gets in your brain. It's a neurotransmitter, so hey, it gets there, and it's not naturally there. Your brain can't regulate it because, you know, if you drink like I did, 8 sodas a day, you become excited, you become overly jittery, you can have memory loss. There are so many side effects that have been reported to the FDA and listed on their site, 80 of them, folks, that people have voluntarily reported. Not the hospitals have reported, people have voluntarily reported. 4 out of every 5 complaints to the FDA is on a product that contains aspartame. Just type in aspartame and go down the documentary. It'll fill the rest in for you on YouTube. More importantly, actually aspartame is the biggest part. The fact that, if you think about it, let's take this in kind. You're depressed, right? You go get an antidepressant. They do not give you a neurotransmitter. They don't give you straight up serotonin, do they? No. They give you something that affects the way it's reuptake. They don't give you the direct neurotransmitter, which you are getting in your food and drink and almost everything you can think of without any... It's over the counter poison. And,
Yes.
Those things you hear in the background
Yes.
are somebody who's been... It is not make-believe, seriously. This guy has been on it for 45 years. He's proud of it. He drinks it. And the most important thing, phenylalanine, I don't have time to get into. Basically, is an amino acid, which neuropeptides are too. But it's an amino acid that is toxic. And it's only 4% in food. It's 50% in this. Methanol is 10% of acid. Methanol, right there. Wood alcohol. You might have heard of it because it's an EPA poison. Yep, you heard me right. And unlike fruit, which is the counterpoint the industry makes, that fruit has formaldehyde, has methanol in it. Yes, it also is bound to pectin, which you do not have an enzyme in your body to break the methanol free. Therefore, it is excreted out. You get my drift, right? It's not free to where your body digests it. It's bound by pectin. Number 2, not going to go there right now, but number 2, okay, methanol, it's formaldehyde and formic acid. Anyway, that's what it's turned to in your body. I'll just read off this. Both of them are toxic. The EPA recommends 7.8 milligrams a day is your maximum limit to consumption of formaldehyde and formic acid. 1 liter of aspartame sweetened beverage contains about 56 milligrams of methanol, which is then, since it's not bound by pectin like it is in fruit, and it goes out nicely, which you might not like the way it goes out, it's not a pee hole, but it goes out the other way. It is actually stored and turned into formaldehyde and formic acid in your body, which, folks, your body has no way to get rid of that, none. If it don't go out that way, or That way, it stays in your body forever. So you're accumulating that every time you drink it, and I've stopped drinking it for a week.
Good.
Yep, and like someone who is very addicted, it does taste good. I would pivot and have him showing him drinking that. But
I refuse to be seen on camera.
Yeah, he refuses to be seen on camera. I like outburst. Anyway, but the bottom line is, if you want to know, well, we'll get to diketopiperazine, which is a known carcinogen, which it breaks down to in your body, and all this is in the bloodstream. All three chemicals that I mentioned are metabolized directly into the blood, and when they're broken down by your liver, they form DKP, diketopiperazine. Can't pronounce it that well, but it's a known carcinogen. So it causes brain tumors, it causes all kinds of problems. Yep, there you see someone with holes in their brain. But, oh, that's another thing. Look, please, I urge you to just put in aspartame and documentary. And my whole computer is now littered.
That's called air freshener.
Yep, that's someone who's been exposed to it since '82. And it's also well worth mentioning that it was petitioned by the FDA in '70 officially for recognition. It was not recognized and approved till '82. That's right, '82. And it was only approved for dry goods. It wasn't approved for beverages till much later. And it was approved with the only way it could be. The head of the FDA objected over every single person who had studied it and took every study. Put an aspartame documentary, you could absorb it much better and explain it. Just don't take anything with aspartame. If you do, that's your choice. But if you have children, I urge you, do not do this to your children. Thank you. Sorry I had to be so serious today. Without the shenanigans in the background, this would have been better. I might redo it and reformulate it later, but I am putting this in just to show you, and that is not an actor, folks. He couldn't act with his life dependent on it, trust me. That's someone who honestly gets outraged, has mood disturbances, and all kind of problems. Like depression is a major one that you get from drinking aspartame. If you drink more than 1 liter, especially if you drink more than that, you probably have depression or mood disturbances. It might take 5 years of being on it every day, but you will develop it. It's a cumulative toxic effect, and this is a fact. And it's something that I now must clean up my computer from someone who has toxic buildup of all kinds of formaldehyde and has dead brain cells from exact. See, someone poisoned that bat actually thinks it's funny, and it's not counterproductive to talk back to someone like that. I'll leave on that note. Sorry for the aggravation. It won't reappear in any of my videos. Bye.